President Trump is in South Korea ahead of his closely watched meeting with China's Xi Jinping in a few hours. Today, President Trump finalized a trade deal with his South Korean counterparts that will lower tariffs on the country and bring new investment into U.S. industries. The president's trip is expected to culminate with a face-to-face meeting with the Chinese president. On Air Force One, President Trump addressed the upcoming meeting.
Yeah, I'm very optimistic. I am. And I know a little bit about what's going on because, we have been talking to them. We're not just walking into a meeting cold, but the relationship with China is very good. So I think we're going to have a very good outcome for our country and for the world, actually. I think it's important for the world.
For more, let's bring in CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe. Ed, we know President Trump and Xi will be discussing rare earth minerals, soybeans, TikTok. What constitutes a win for the U.S.?
Getting China to bend on any of those issues and ensuring that some kind of an agreement is in place to avoid the 100% tariffs the president's prepared to put on China later in November. And certainly China would like to avoid those as well. He's been talking this up the entire week. This entire trip's been building up to this moment. He says it'll be a meeting that could last 3 to 4 hours before he flies home here to Washington. But all those issues, plus, again, the details of the trade deal, whether or not China's willing to turn on Russia, China's going to be worried about Taiwan and other concerns in that region, all of it potentially on the agenda. The president far more optimistic, at least publicly, than the Chinese, but some of our own experts who track this stuff closely say the Chinese are quite well versed in the American positions on this, ready to go toe-to-toe with the president.
What can you tell us about this trade agreement between the U.S. and South Korea?
Lindsay, it's as if the president anticipated your question, because just moments before we went on the air, he was sharing details, at least from his point of view, on Truth Social. Perhaps the biggest takeaway and a big win for South Korea is that they're going to be able to build a nuclear-powered submarine, the president says, in the Philadelphia shipyards where submarines have been built. So there's an American economic benefit to a South Korean military priority. The president also saying that there's going to be $350 billion paid by South Korea to, quote, lower the tariffs charged against them by the United States. He says they're going to be buying a lot of oil and gas. The problem is the president gets out in front of these trade announcements and says on social media or to reporters, here's what's in the deal, but we don't see the paperwork then for several more days or weeks. So we'll have to wait and see the final details. But that a deal got done at all while the president in South Korea was significant because there had been talks here in Washington in the lead up to the Asia trip where it was thought South Korea might not get their agreement. They did, so he can come home with that one saying, again, the U.S. has cut another significant deal with a major trading partner.
Okay, Ed O'Keefe, I've been enjoying watching you on The Takeout. Thank you.